Hey guys, alright, so we're here at week 2, match 3. Apologies for the delay in getting this out. Unfortunately, I've been quite busy with work, TW, and all the other things that come along with GAC and whatnot. But here we are. We finally got it out and start working on it. We're going to get through this quite quickly. This is basically I'm coming in, and probably a lot of these battles even for the next week coming, I'm going to be talking about them afterwards because a lot of the quality I had there, production, I had a lot of issues with the voice, the sound, anything like that. So yeah, not as good a production quality as like. So I'm coming back in over here, and I'm going to speed them up, and I'm going to get through the battles very, very quickly, and just help to explain and break down what I did, and hopefully that's helpful to you guys when you're doing a GAC. Bear in mind that datacrons, they go really quickly. But just you can get a lot of the sense of the idea of the battles. Sometimes this stuff doesn't age well. Things change pretty quickly. But anyone who is watching, who has gotten this far already in the video, I would really appreciate if you hit the like and the subscribe button too. It really helps me to grow this channel, as everyone says whenever they do a video. It's the usual kind of stuff. Need that to sort of get an understanding and idea what you guys are enjoying my content. Please comment as well if you didn't like this, or you thought I should have done the counter better, or what I did wrong. I'm not afraid to hear that. Please do. But yeah, please engage with me there. Join my Discord server. Come and say that I'm crap. Come and say I could have done this or that better in this battle. Happy to hear those comments, or even ask me for more information of why I did what I did. Sometimes I don't even know why I did something. So please come join me. And if you are interested in modding as well, I can really help you out there with that. It is something that I love doing for a lot of people. So hit me up if you are interested in helping get your modding sorted and all those sorts of things. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get stuck into it, and let's start talking about what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to have the full overview here, Obi Bale, unfortunately, in preparation for this, but he's a relatively good player in terms of where he is. This is where we're getting close to the top 200s at the moment. So he's a good player, knows his stuff, set up a good defense, plays quite efficiently on average. Plays quite efficiently on average, I should say. Apologies there. So this was always going to be a tough match. He attacked me first, though, as you can start to see here. He got stuck up on my trap and on, unfortunately for him, on my profundity fleet. And just that's the pain of RNG in fleets. It can get you. It really can. And when you don't set the full tough fleets, you can sometimes have these random things coming up. So as you'll see, his fleets weren't up to scratch in terms of the difficulty I had to face. And you sometimes run into this RNG issue, and it's unfortunate because fleets are more prone to RNG than any other battles, and it's very hard to deal with some of those fleets, especially Profundity and Executor, if RNG goes really badly for you because you just don't have another fleet strong enough to deal with it. But anyway, let's get stuck into it, and let's get started. So get this rolling, and we'll get some music going in the background as well. All right, guys. So in this fight, the biggest concern I had going into this match was actually how was I going to deal with his SLKR. Now, his SLKR had a really, really good high amount of tenacity, good crit damage, and a bit of offense as well. So this was always going to be a tough fight in my mind. He's got good relics on all those tunes. He doesn't have the relic 9 on the boss, which I love a lot. I love the versatility there, especially once Slacker can go back onto defense. There'll be more time for that. I mean, even with his Datacron expiring and other Datacrons expiring and his uses changing, he is really good. The team's really good on defense if you set it up with the rest of the other tunes around him. Or he can be really good on offense. So really flexible GL. I love him. But when you come into this battle against them, in the JKR counter, there's kind of like the main prevailing way to play it is you get rid of Hux first. When you go in there with JML, you actually have the ability to cooldown increase him with the middle on JML. That's what we did here. And then we focus on red, because if you let red go, every time you kill someone, as you know, he takes a big hit. what that does is it keeps charging up the old slacker. So what we're going to do is we're going to get him out straight away, then we work on hucks, and then after that we kind of control the fight because we can keep SLKR ability blocked, or we can just make sure that he's just really not doing anything. And that's what we did here. It really was, at this point, the battle was over because he just lost all his friends. They all dipped out and just said, we're out of here. We're out of here, Slicker. So at this point, I knew it was all over. I just needed to try and see how many banners I could make sure I kept. It's very hard against Slicker because obviously, powerful character, great AoE. And I'm thinking at this moment, could I do the massive heal? Yes, I did. But am I actually going to keep anyone alive? Either I do the saber throw, basic, either or of them, we're going to kill him. So I had to take that battle loss there, but overall, great battle. That was a great start to this GAC. Against Gas, we all know this battle for a long time now. This one's been around for ages. It's a good one. I think Gas's importance on defense is somewhat diminishing at the moment because of just, even when you stack him with armor and protection, he just so easily is countered. I've for a long time been deciding whether or not I put R9 on Gas. I'm thinking about R9 on Gas not for defensive reasons, but actually more for offensive reasons. I want him to be more efficient on offense, and I want the team to be more efficient on offense to save him winners. Because what often happens when you put Gas on defense, it used to be like the Treyer argument with Gas on offense, is that you really had no way to prevent banners being poor. Like it was a given. What you can try and do is mitigate the banner loss by making sure that you have the full 5FS and that 5s doesn't sacrifice. So having a thicker Gas or being able to have the flexibility of being thick whilst also having good offense is a flexibility I'm really considering right now. It's not because I think he's going to be tougher on defense. The Relic 9, the Relic 9 is actually for the offense to give me a bit more oomph to take out some of the other teams that he can actually do. He can take out a weak Grey. If your opponent decides to put down a weak Grey, you can actually go toe to toe with a weak Grey, or even a JMK if you can get out. Cat. Basically, you can go on there with JMK and clean up. So it's a 2-shot on a JMK, but you've taken out a GL with two good off-meta teams. Grant you that. 2 off-meta teams kind of equal a GL. And so, depends on the way you're playing, you could do something like that. There are options, and it really depends on your opponent, who you've got. There's a whole myriad of reasons why. But this counter here, I love taking it with Vader for that very reason. You can just throw that blade and bye-bye, bash. Bye-bye, you're out. And after you get bashed, this battle, if anyone's seen it, it's just pretty much a cakewalk from here. You're really just trying to get as many banners as you can from the fight. Anywhere between 61, I think, 61, 62. 61 is kind of the average most people get. I think maybe it's getting close to 62, depending on the comps. But yeah, I like the Vader version. It works really nicely with her. So yeah, this one's a pretty easy one. I run with that IG86, which is very unique for a lot of people. IG86 actually, if he calls in a droid, their crit damage goes up quite significantly. He also hits pretty hard as well. So a good droid to take in there with that team means you can save IG88 if you wanted to run the Separatist team, the GG Nuke team, the old school one, which has got some benefits coming up with this latest Datacron that's coming out. There is something there, and then even though there's a droid deck of Datacron and stuff like that, and you got the RPD Pro Droid, but there is still some good stuff that looks pretty interesting in this new set for GG. So GG, man, the uses of GG is just unbelievable. So many things you can do with GG. Anyway, going here, we're obviously going to do the very simple counter of SCE versus Malgus. That's a very stock standard counter. We all know that one, and we all know that one. We love it pretty good. It's very it's good on the banners. 65 typically. You get down to just a C. What dips and just realizes that life isn't worth living. That's just what C does. He does C things, and he gets out of there pretty quick. So this battle is pretty boring, so at least you really just want to make sure you link up Darth Malik and Darth Malgus with SEE, and just to make sure that you're not going to time out, because you need to get that protection under control. You need to be able to work through them and then zap them as well. If you don't, you will get stuck. Unfortunately, C just can't take them down, and so you need to zap them. You need to get them out initially. So make sure you link. Otherwise, it is a two-shot after using a GL, and that to me is very costly. So just always make sure you're doing that. Yeah, not much else to say. I like to link up DR and Bestilla at this point, and then just work on system order so that I can get to my next ult ASAP. I mean, not really any difference matter. You could literally press auto at this point, and it would not matter. So it's really just a thing that I like to do. Anyway, that battle's over. Now we go see what his rear is. A lot of this is already mostly predicted for what I knew was going to happen. He's done a pretty good job for the most part. He put a pretty good team there. I mean, I'm not really sure about the Dash team, but the SWGOH team can be very difficult to deal with. It's not an easy team to go through. But overall, he's tried to go for more of an efficiency fight. Looking here at Ray, Starkiller vs. Ray is always a bit of a dicey one. In my experience, depending on the person you're playing against, it can be really easy, or it can drag out and you get a timeout, or you just lose your whole team. It really depends on a few variables. Some of it's RNG, some of it's modding, some of it's your play. There's so many things I could say as to why this battle can go wrong. And there's so many different teams of Ray. Like, there is honestly, I mean, and it's a lot of the time, the way you build your Ray team on defense actually is dictated by all the other teams you have around it. Like, Ray is that kind of a GL where you can kind of try and force your opponent in some way to do something, or you can force to take away Starkiller. Starkiller can do so many different things. Like, I often put Ray there, not because I don't think Starkiller can beat it, but if I don't put Ray there, I'm going to find that he's going to Starkiller something else that's going to be an overkill. So it's kind of like Starkiller can beat nearly all forms of Ray. It's just how many banners you want to take from Starkiller in that fight. That's what it really comes down to. And so this one, for example, that's generally 59, 58. There's other variants which are like almost a timeout risk for Starkiller, but he'll get most of the team. You can clean it up. It's just that there's certain variants and certain, like, the mods and the relics you have that could really, really, really change this battle with Ray. So, and you sometimes force you to almost use SEE. Or you play it very technically. Now, Radis vs. GG. At this time when I was doing it, I actually hadn't done Radis vs. GG ever before, but I watched one of the really, really good players in GAC, Tassinix, do it. And he did it really, really well, and it inspired me to do it this time, and when I studied my opponent's defense. So I did it, and it felt a bit dicey. I think my modding isn't anywhere with this team as good as what he was doing. He made some better decisions. Their preparation with his Radis team, he gave more importance. Unfortunately, I haven't given it as much importance as I should. I mostly just put it on defense. But I am finding more and more how useful it is to have Radis on offense. He can actually do a lot more than you think. And this is a good example here against GG. He does good work. He does good work. Very good work. Not the best in banners, but I didn't need that here. I needed something to be able to deal with GG quite easily, low cost, and allow me to keep moving. Because I wasn't going to be able to use Night Sisters there. That wasn't going to work out too well with the Datacron and everything like that that he had. But I could do the Radis, and that worked out. So This is an overkill. Mando is one of those teams which actually is very difficult to deal with, depending on the composition. This composition is an anti-trooper composition. When you put Bam up there in that team, what you're trying to do is you're trying to stop the trooper counter. And it is an effective way to do it because you see Bam here gets his bird, builds up really quickly. He can really interrupt things. So I went in this battle thinking, oh, okay, Bam's, we're going to take one or two guys. Lord Vader's just going to carry him. Probably just be Lord Vader on the own. Terrible banners. But I'll get through. I'll get the first shot of it, first kill. It won't be a timeout. It won't be a drop. It's guaranteed. It's unfortunate I'm going to lose Lord Banners, but as the battle progressed, I started to realize, with Moff Gideon's damage reduction that he gives, and just the other general offense and the turn meter control there with Gideon, because my Gideon's very fast, is 380. 381, I think I had him at, for this very reason, to just be insanely fast with Lord Vader. Either I put him on defense or I took him on offense. But yeah, Obi, Bales, relics weren't helping here in this situation. I was able to just power through them. They didn't finish me off. He probably had a few more relics. He actually would have hit me a lot harder, and it might have just got me drop a few more banners. But in this one, I was able to go full banners, which I wasn't expecting against a Maul team. So in my mind, that actually was a really good counter because I could have dropped up to 6 banners or even had a drop battle if I took anything less. So yeah, costly, but given what he has on defense, it wasn't costly and allowed me to stay very efficient. Again, overkill, efficiency. Overkill, efficiency. Done. I should have actually played that out slower, knowing that I'm going to wipe them so quickly, or maybe just going in with a, just maybe even slicker or a smaller team. But at this point, I knew 3 banners wasn't going to make much difference. I was well ahead here because of the fleets he put down. He put the he didn't put the prof down, which takes a lot of banners. It doesn't always get a hole because of the because you can easily do it with Trixie. But what you do have the functionality to do by putting that on there is that Trixie's counter to it isn't the best on banners. So you do take away, and you do put a risk there of RNG coming into effect, which is what happened to Obi Bale, sadly for him, that he just ran into that problem. So yeah, I'm at this stage here now thinking, okay, well, I need to get this score. Once I clear these fleets, I basically win. I don't need to worry too much about squads, but how do we do this? How do we break these fleets up and power through them? I figured with Executor to go with a tried and true first order counter. Unfortunately for Obi, he doesn't have the relics there on the IG 88 that I do, and a lot of other people, when you get those higher relics, it almost makes the first order counter next to impossible, because you just won't be able to drop IG 88 before they all get going, and then you just get wiped. Gone. And so yeah, I had the advantage to be able to do that here. It doesn't make it much easier. It's still an RNG fight. As many of you will know who have had to unfortunately do it. You lose Enchilada. The great Enchilada dies quite often. That is just normal. It's going to happen. Normally I wouldn't do a basic there, and I'd probably pass it to crew. But because of the guy's health so low, I'll say, yeah, for now, use it and then get a big hit. Sorry, I do a basic because I want to try and get the stun, but I didn't have enough turn meter. That's what I was thinking. Didn't pay attention enough. There we go. Got the stun there. Unfortunately, you typically will lose SF. Like, there's just not really much you can do about that. It is what it is. At this point, I need Ebon Hawk to come in and help me deal with all these buffs. I want to get those flares out after this, because he's gonna should be able to get a turn here. Oh, I love it when they keep going for crew. They just keep going for him. Keep going for him indeed. So yeah, go for crew, of course, as they do. And then Cruz hangs in there, thankfully, and then we just basically got to work on the Razor Crest, which isn't a tough battle, as we all know. and then just cleaning up here. Bam, see you later. All over and done with. At that point, when you kill IG and CAD, the battle at that point is pretty much all but done. They don't really have much left in the tank after that, and you can just work your way through them. It's really trying about getting the best banners after that at that point. All right, Negotiator here against the Malevolence. Now, the Malevolence on defense, to me, in my opinion, I think is probably the better one to put down. Malevolence is a great banner stealer. Even with the good fleets, it just drains the banners, and you want it. You want it there for that very reason. I think on offense, it does you worse. It's kind of like the whole gas or the Treya argument. It can beat a lot of things, but the banners hurt you more than just the beating what it can beat. So, yeah, I think Malevolence is a great one there because there is no clean, easy way to beat Malevolence without dropping at least 4 to 5 banners. So, definitely encourage you guys to put that on defense. If not, Negotiator can work. Yeah, not really too much to say other than that. After this fight, we get to do the very, 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 very easy one, and then we start just cleaning up with the rear zone. So let's go. I think we drop the bombs at this point. Get that turn meter going, and it's going to be cleaned up in a moment. Alright, we're going to lose Y-Wing, I think, at this point very shortly. He's going to die of sadness with all those on him. Let's try and get rid of those. Well, I guess we didn't want to get rid of those Belch droids, so they'll just hang in there for a bit longer. Bye-bye, Plo. Thank you for your services. Much appreciated. Thank you for your service, and get out of here, guys. Bye-bye. 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 Let's go. Alright, Negotiator. I love this. I love losing. I'm losing here. I'm doing well here. What I'm saying here is I love using Trixie on Negotiator. I remember for a long time when you saw Negotiator on defense, man, was it a pain in the ass to deal with. What a pain. What a painful fleet to deal with. But now, with this Trixie fleet, ooh, I love it. Mwah. So good. So good. It's not so scary, this fleet anymore. And, using a fleet older than Negotiator, I believe. I think the Tarkin fleet was one of the first ones. I can't remember exactly, but I think this was newer, older than GK fleet. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to see that a few extra ships here. You've got a kind of mixture. You got Darth Vader, you got the Bomber, you got ITB, Wiggle Monster. What a great combination here of ships. Getting some of the new, getting some of the old. I love it. I love it. I love the reuse of this. And it's a shame that Thrawn. What am I saying at the start there? It's just Thrawn because you've got the Arc in here, not Trixie. Sorry. Thrawn. I love with Thrawn the versatility to run various different fleets with him. Unfortunately, that it's annoying that TIE Defender, as many people have pointed out, doesn't work with him despite lore, but the Chimera fleet is actually a very, very flexible fleet. It actually has lots of different ways in which you can use it. Trixie is a little bit more. It's faster. Get that reinforcement out faster. There's a whole bunch of benefits there with it. But Chimera actually is also very good, and I like that flexibility between the two different Imperial fleets. It just sucks that you can't have both. All we really need, CG, is probably 1 or 2 ships. We need another tank ship. So a TIE Bomber, TIE Defender almost is more of an attacker. Scythe is a support kind of ship. Helps juice up the team. You kind of need another tank that would go either with Trixie or Chimera, that you can take some of these other ships away, like maybe TIE Interceptor or Wiggle Monster, or you could take Vader away and keep with the Chimera. There's probably 1 or 2 ships off for making another fleet there, let alone the idea of bringing in Darth Nihilus capital ship when we still have, and we have Mace fleet and other things like that, like and Akbar missing complete fleets. So we could really open up fleets if we do that. All right, getting off topic here for where we're at in the battles. Radis, or using Bad Batch against Radis is just so simple. It's basic. Very easy fight. Make sure you just obviously keep working on Radis. You want to get him out because obviously you can't get Jin out and the rest of the finishing off that battle. Rest of the battle. So Bad Batch again proving their usefulness, can do so much. I love Bad Batch as well. TV show's actually been really good this season too. If any of you guys out there watching the TV show, I've been loving watching it with my eldest son. We watch it every Wednesday. We look forward to it. It was probably a bit slow on the first season, got a bit better, but this season, you really get to see a lot of different stories about the clones and the Clone Wars and the impacts that it had, and you get a bit more of a relationship with the clones and get a bit more empathy towards all the clones, and don't just see them as purely numbers. And you get that through the whole Clone Wars TV show as well, obviously, if you've watched that. But you kind of see a bit more of like what happened to them afterwards, so you get a bit more empathy of like what they were in that. But anyway, I'm getting distracted talking about that. Going into this battle, as I talked about earlier about gas on offense, this is a prime example. If you got a Savage that you're going against, gas is really good at going against with Savage there, because what happens every time that someone on the other team is gaining a buff, gas and the 501st get juiced up. Very, very small amount, I think it's like 2 or 3%. But that team juices up, keep getting hit harder and harder and harder. That's what makes them really good against JMK. If there's no Cat there, it makes them really good against Ray, because there's all these buffs coming out. So gas is a lot of versatility, but as you can see, like I've dropped a lot of banners here. I can't really get that protection back so easily. I mean, you can get back gas off the ground with the protection when you do the form up. But yeah, look, you lose 5s, and kind of you actually really want it to get through Savage at this point. I would have gotten eventually built up, but I'd be close around that 1 minute mark. But losing 5s allowed me to just smash through, and I got back all that other protection and just destroyed them. So you kind of on like worst case scenario 58-ish, but you probably can get up around 60 depending on your relics compared to theirs. Hence the reason why I say I'm looking at R9 on gas and probably some R8s on the other guys, especially Echo, because Echo's bomb, as you saw right at the end, he just wiped out 3 people. Bam. Yeah, it makes a difference. All right, so Maul here against Dash. Well overkill. Like, it's just murder. It's murder. Bye-bye. Yeah, so not much to say with this one. I like Maul on offense too, but I also like his versatility and putting him on defense. There is the use case to do that. Always use a case for a lot of different teams, and how you use it. Even use case to put C on defense, depending on what's going on. But yeah, good match, Bale. Thanks for the match, mate. Well done. I know you got caught up there on the fleets, unfortunately. There was a bit of some sort of relic disparity there between us. But yeah, thanks again for the battle, and really appreciate it. Have a good one, guys. See you in the next one.